Hi, this is Hale Pringle from Orlando, and I'm going to do a video today that goes with a book that I've written called Aweber for Network Marketers. Now, it used to be Aweber Quick Start, but since it's grown to over 200 pages, I can't call it Quick Start anymore. I've also modified it to focus more on network marketers than it did before. So, let's take a look. Okay, here's what we're going to cover. What is Aweber and why do we care? I'm going to start with the end, with the types of emails that you can send out, which is what Aweber is all about. Then we'll work back and look at some of the pieces that go into making that happen. I'm going to give you some vocabulary, a little bit of workflow, what the autoresponders like Aweber will do for you. There are three core sections. Now, there are a number of sections, and they don't make the menus work this way, look this way. But I find that all the autoresponder companies basically have these three core areas and then a few smaller ones off on the side. So we're going to look at those very briefly and very, very briefly at the others. So, what is it? Why do we care? Well, it lets us create an email marketing system so we can serve people, sell to people, and recruit people to our network marketing company. We need this email marketing system so that we can reach out and touch them. And we can't do this without some kind of automation, and it's a fairly stiff automation. I mean, the company's been working at it for years and they keep improving it. When I rewrote this book after a couple of 3 years, I would guess 80% had to be redone because things were better, newer, new look and feel in some cases. So, Aweber is an autoresponder company. That word used to mean just you did something and got an immediate response. You telephoned somebody and got an immediate response, or emailed them and got an immediate response. But it has grown to mean much more than that. And we're going to look at why you need one here in just a second. So, this is the heart and soul of internet marketing. Is one of the things that you can build. It's an asset. It will grow, and it will help you over and over. So, what is it we want? Well, we want to go ahead and serve and sell and recruit. But to do that, we need to reach out and touch people multiple times. They say it's between 8 and 20 time touches before a person actually buys or joins with you. And we need to reach out and do that touching the same person over and over. When an email program does that, once you have them, you can reach out and touch them often as you want over a course of weeks and maybe even years. So that's what email systems are all about. So I'm going to start at the end and show you the emails, and then we'll look at the moving parts that go into making it up. Let's start with an offer campaign, just to one person. We're going to make them some type of offer. Quite often, it's a lead magnet where we're offering to trade their email for something that we put together. So here we have Joe. We sent him a welcome email and then a few. Then we skipped a day, did a couple more and skipped a day. And that was the way we wanted to do it. We didn't want to hit him every day. So Joe is ready to go. And that's easy enough. We could do that with Gmail or Outlook. Now we start to add a few more people. And suddenly you can see on January 6th, everybody gets a different email. On January 8th, two of them get emails, but the other two don't. Now start to think about doing this for 100 people. This one's getting 8, 7, and this one's getting 5, and this one's getting 32, and this one's not getting anything, and you'd go absolutely nuts. However, that's not, we aren't finished. So at some point, the offer campaign is going to run out. If you have like a 10-page document of some type that you've traded their email for, you may talk about what's in there for a little bit, but at some point you want to move on to the bigger picture. And that's where a follow-up campaign comes in. And now follow-ups are evergreen and generic. They last, uh, you can keep adding to them for years and years. And you want everybody in a particular niche to get these emails at some point. And we call them evergreen because they work any time of the year. They're not about a Black Friday sale. They're about you're giving the person, your subscriber, value, and you're asking them to do something, buy something, or join up now and again. But a lot of it is you're building a relationship with them by giving them value. But those emails go on. And every time you have an idea for one, you can add it to the end of the list. So we now have an offer that's about our little freebie. And then we've got a bigger generic that would work for multiple freebies because it's going to have to. At some point, we're going to do a second offer. So we're into February and we've got different people receiving emails. I've set it up in the same pattern, but this gets to even more complex. And we've got the follow-up campaign. Now, to me, it's pretty obvious you'd rather do the follow-up campaign, one follow-up campaign for all your offers, because then you only have one place to put these additional evergreen emails. Can you imagine having 30 different offers and you have the same follow-up at the end of each one of them? And if you find a typo, you've got to go into 30 places and fix it. So this is the kind of system that we're going to end up with where we have different offers and we have an evergreen follow-up program. So you need a special kind of autoresponder if you're a network marketer to do this. And Aweber's been around for a good number of years. I mean, I wrote the first version of this ebook in 2012, and they've been around for a good while before then. They're also network marketer friendly, and a number of the other autoresponder companies are not friendly. You may suddenly find that your account has been shut down if they discover you're a network marketer. And I know several that this has happened to. For example, Constant Contact is a large professional autoresponder company, and they will pull the plug on you with no notice if they discover that you're a network marketer. At least they would a few years ago. Haven't tried them since. So let's go to the next topic, which is some vocabulary. The 101 course for any topic is vocabulary, where you learn the words. So the first word we have is list. This is basically a database that's stored at the computer, but we always call them a list. The IT people would call them a database. So you've got a computer with a big database that you're adding subscribers, not only their emails, but they actually collect the IP address, and from that they can tell the city and the state and the country the person came from. They're going to collect tags, which we'll talk about in a minute. And as the people go through these sequences that we just saw, they keep track of Joe is now on email 7. And let's look and see. Oh, he's supposed to skip a day. Don't know whether that was true or not. And on the 8th day, it said, oh, Joe needs to get email 8. And they're doing that for each of the people, each of the subscribers who are in the database. We're going to end up, for the most part, having a list that services one niche. So if you have people who are into gardening, you might have that as one list. And you wouldn't want to put the people who are into CrossFit into that. Now, if you were doing CrossFit gardeners, people who were interested in both, that would be appropriate. But if you collected them from totally different sources, they would not be a good place to join them into one list. So you'd have multiple lists. Now, it is interesting. Aweber now will let you have one list up to 500 subscribers for free. So you can actually get pretty active and pretty heavy into this for free. And by the time you've got 500 subscribers and you've deleted all the ones that are inactive and you still have 500, it's about time you should be willing to pay because you should be making some good money off of it. Now, a lead is somebody who might be interested. They haven't actually done anything to prove it to you yet. The subscriber is a lead who has given you their email address and pushed the submit button so that they are now in the database. Now, there are some other ways that they can end up in there, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But subscribers are on your list and they should be getting emails from you. Automation, that's part of the deal for these autoresponder companies is you can set things up to do things automatically, which means, for example, when a lead becomes a subscriber and you give him a certain tag, then automatically Aweber is going to look at that tag and say, oh, here is a campaign of emails that I should be sending this person. And at the end of that campaign, you may actually apply another tag, and Aweber would say, oh, now I should put them into the follow up and start showing them those emails. So there's a number of things that you can set up to do automatically. You can take people in and out of lists. If they buy something, you can put them into a customer uh, list and take them out of, or a customer tag, take them out of the not a customer tag or list. That's part of the power of an automation of a autoresponder company is they're doing this for you. Tags, these are particular words that you've invented and put up, and you have your own little list. When when I want somebody to receive the gardening campaign, I might say gardener. That would be my tag. And then I would have a list that starts when the tag gardener shows up on a subscriber. Trigger, that tag is a trigger for the gardener email list. This is a rule that's looking for its trigger, which might be a tag, but it also might be something like they subscribe to a certain list. And that's the trigger that starts something happening. Lead magnets, ethical bribes. This is something that a lead is willing to trade their email address for. Call to action. You need call to actions in your emails. Tell the people exactly what you want them to do. You may think it's implied that we really want them to push this button and sign up, but you need to put the words, push the button and sign up today. Last chance. Campaign, carefully crafted, purposeful series of emails. You're not just putting random tips in most of your campaigns. You're actually, here is a welcome and why we like you here. Here's who I am. Here's the kind of things you're going to get. Here's what you ought to try out. Click here now. You've put together this sequence that you are working toward getting the people to take an action that you want, or you may be just branding yourself and giving them value, so because you're going to give them an offer later. But the campaign has a particular purpose in your mind, and you're building those emails to carry that purpose out. I call offer campaigns. This is a campaign designed around a particular offer. The follow-up campaigns are going to have offers in them, but it's not one offer, it's multiple offers over time. You're going to show them something and then give them some value, and then maybe show them something else and give them some value, and then tell them, hey, we just got a brand new product and it does things really, really great. You might want to try it out. Click here today. So that type of uh, follow up will not have one particular objective, it's got multiple carried out over time. Broadcast emails are different in that they are time bounded. You don't want to put a Black Friday or a Mother's Day offer in your evergreen because most of the year Black Friday isn't right around the corner and Mother's Day isn't right around the corner. So these are emails that you're going to send out on a particular date that are relevant to something that's going to happen fairly soon. We're holding a webinar next Thursday night. Sign up now. Block the time off. It's going to be great. That would be something that would go out as a broadcast email because you certainly don't want somebody to get that 6 months from now when the webinar or the sale is long, long past. Segments, segmenting your subscribers is one of the more advanced things, but is definitely something you're going to end up moving toward. And that's where you have subgroups within your subscribers that have different needs and have reached different levels. If they've bought your book, you want to offer them something else. And you don't want to keep offering them your book because they're going to get annoyed. I already bought the book. Don't keep telling me about how great the book is. I have the book. Another word is sign up form. The sign up form kind of looks like what you can see on the screen. This is something that you create inside of companies like Aweber. You choose the colors you use. I have stripped this one down to the bare minimum, but you can have images on it. You can have the name in a different language. You can ask for a phone number. We have found that the more things you ask for, the less response you're going to get, but you certainly can do it if you have a particular need. You could also have other things that you really need to collect for them in your specific situation. So you would add that to your sign up form. And once this is done, Aweber creates some code that you insert into your own website. And when people fill in their name and their email or just their email and press the button, the information will be sent to Aweber. They'll be added to a list, and the browser the person is using will also be told, here's the page you should go to next. These forms also have a number of things hidden in them where, for example, if they click the button without entering the email, a message or a screen will come up and say, hey, you've got to enter the email in order to press the button. So go back and fill in the missing information. So a lot of those types of things are built into these forms. And these days, you need to actually have the tag in there as you create this form, because that tag will be sent to Aweber along with the email, which then will trigger an email campaign, and they'll start to receive the specific emails that have to do with this form. Landing pages are a new thing with Aweber, relatively new, maybe a year old, where you can create a whole page. Now, the first one will have a form in it, but this is you can have it look like a website, and you can actually have multiple pages, and they're all hosted on Aweber, so you can have a mini website that isn't going to cost you anything. All right, moving on to the next topic, the workflow. We're going to get traffic. We're going to have a lead magnet. They're going to arrive at a landing page where we offer that lead magnet, and some of them are going to say yes. I'm adding the one-time offer here. When you're doing paid ads, if you have something that you can sell them, then a few will buy, and that can offset the actual cost of the advertising. Um, we don't often do that as network marketers, but in some cases you certainly can. They're going to then subscribe, whether they say yes or no to the one-time offer, they're going to subscribe. They've already done that when they pressed the submit button and we showed them the one-time offer. We're going to add the tag, and they're going to end up in one of our lists. And at that point, we can send them campaign emails and the broadcast emails, follow-up emails, and we have basically have them on the list until they either do what we are asking them to do or they unsubscribe. But that's the basic. Drive traffic, get your landing page with an offer they just can't refuse. They subscribe. We tag them, and their tags and their email address goes to Aweber, and they end up in the list. We can run our campaigns, and we can run broadcasts for special sales and events. Here's what the autoresponder companies do for you. They handle things like deliverability. Um, there are spam tests, and these companies do their best to tell you, hey, you're going to get caught by the spam filters in Gmail. You shouldn't put the 2 exclamation points in your title. That triggers the spam and puts you into the spam folder, and the people won't see it. So they're handling this kind of thing and learning constantly, figuring out the rules and the rule changes, the industry changes. There are laws about spam. There are complaints, and somebody has to deal with the complaints, and you will get complaints, even though you're doing very ethical and straightforward. There are going to be some people who are having a bad day that are just going to say, I'm sick and tired of it. All I ever hear is da 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 da. I'm going to complain. I got to complain about something today, and this is it. If that is not handled by law, they must shut your account down. I've never heard of it happening with Aweber. They handle those. If they can't handle it, they let you know, here's the problem, and you need to deal with it. So I'm glad they're handling it because I don't want to have to keep up to date with all that. They make sure the emails, these campaign emails, go out on the right day to the right people. They handle the unsubscribes automatically, which needs to happen. They schedule the broadcast for later and then send it out to the right people at the right time. And they help you manage your list, your subscribers, your email. And they have a bunch of reports that you can look and see what's going on with your emails. Here are those 3 core areas I talked about a little bit earlier. So the first area is adding subscribers to your list, and these days, along with the tag, the appropriate tag. The second area is sending your emails, which we covered a lot of. And the third area is managing your subscribers. So let's look at these. So the first one is adding subscribers. There are 7 different ways, major ways, for Aweber that people can end up in your list. We can import them from another autoresponder company. We can bulk import them if you have a list of emails from maybe your cash register system, or maybe you've taken that list manually out of what you've been keeping track of in a notebook for years. We can manually add 1 at a time, up to 10 a day, around 10. There are third-party companies, which I'll talk about, who can send an email to your list. There are the sign-up forms that we talked about, the landing pages that we talked about, and Aweber has a phone app where you can enter people's emails. If you're like at a show, you can enter it and have it set up to add the tag and just enter and press go, and it will end up sending it off to Aweber with the appropriate tag. So let me look at these very briefly. The staff will help you import. Their support staff is outstanding, either emailing them or calling them. That's one of the reasons we like Aweber, is they will definitely help you if you've got a question. A bulky load, if they have comma delimited or a text file or some of the various fancier formats these days, and this is a tab separated file. Any of those types of files, you can upload them, and those subscribers will go into your into your list. The manual list, if you go to the subscriber tab on Aweber, one of the sub things that pops up in the menu is add a subscriber. Be sure you add the tag that needs to go with that new person, or they won't get any emails, and that's not going to work very well for you. The API, just as an example, GearBubble is a company that does print on demand, which means you create a design and upload it to GearBubble, and they create a sales page with a coffee mug or a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or a necklace or a pandemic mask or blanket. There are a whole bunch of products. Now you can set them up to where when somebody buys this, GearBubble automatically sends the message to Aweber of here's the email address of the person who bought this dog-related mug. So they're going into a dog-related list. Um, that's a third party coming from their API. Nobody actually sat down in front of a form and filled in a name and address and email address and pressed submit. And just recently, within the last week, when I'm recording this in April of 2021, they give you an option now to not double opt in things that are coming from third party. And people like GearBubble, when you buy something, you pretty much expect to go on the email list of the person who sold it to you. So they're willing to let that go these days. Next one is the sign up forms, which we talked about already. But buried in there is a number of things like the tag and where the next page the browser should go to. The landing pages have a form, but they're fancier. You can get the entire picture branding. I mean, I'm using the picture at the top of mine. It's the same thing that's on my Facebook page and my Twitter page and several other places. Atom, this app I mentioned, it's got the name and email, and you've set it up with a tag. So when you press go, submit, it automatically gets sent from your phone to Aweber. So there are 7 different ways to get people into your list. The next area is the email, and we pretty well covered that. So we've covered the emails, except there's just one thing I'd like to show you. This is a campaign. It's a very short campaign. Up the top, and we're looking at this campaign in Aweber. It says there was a trigger, and there's a tag up to -start. When Aweber sees a new subscriber with this tag, it starts this campaign, and they're going to be getting an email. Then this says how many days to wait. And they get another email, how many days to wait, another email, how many days to wait, another email. Then we're out of emails, but we're adding a tag. This tag is MDC-main, which is going to trigger a follow-up sequence. It could trigger other things, but that's what we've been talking about with the tags. When they see the tag up to -start, we start this set of emails, and when we're done with that, we give it another tag to tell Aweber what to do with the people next. So the last one is managing your subscribers, and I'm not going to talk very much about that. We just have, here's a list of subscribers. Now we can do searches. It's the first thing. These are drop downs, and there are a whole lot of fields here that you could use. I used a tag just as an example. And this can be greater than, less than, is not, those types of things. Here I gave it a tag and press the search button, and I got 3 people that had that. I could then save these with a name, call it a segment, and as new people came in, they would get added to this segment, and I can send broadcasts to that segment. So if I've got a special subgroup that had a special tag, I can create a segment and then send emails just to the people in that segment. Here we've got a little action button, and when we check mark one or more people, here I can say delete. So I have a test account, and I can check it, hit the little drop down, hit delete, and it will delete all the ones with a check mark. The last thing here is I download a common limited file. When you look at it, you'll be amazed at how much stuff they actually have, because you think that you just sent their email address. But because they have the IP address, as I said earlier, they can have the city, the state, the country, the time of day, all kinds of things, the URL of the page that they were on when they press submit. So there's a lot of information there that you wouldn't think that you had. Because here, this list just kind of says their name and whether they're subscribed or not. Reports is another. They've got a number of reports so you can see what's going on with your emails and the time of day and the day of the week and all kinds of other things that might help you craft your campaigns better. The last one is our other areas. The dashboard will show you how many people you have in each of your lists and some other information, how many signed up today, yesterday, how many unsubscribed. There is this integration. I've mentioned GearBubble. There are dozens of companies that have an integration with Aweber so that they can send emails and sometimes receive emails from Aweber. And so you find those here, and you can mark off the ones that you want it to be using. So I've been using GearBubble and Zapier for quite a while. The help system got a fairly extensive database. I quite often go to Google and search, and it will take me to the pages inside of their help system. I think Google's search engine is a little more powerful than theirs, but there's a ton of stuff in there that will answer questions. And if that doesn't work, you can contact the staff directly, and they will certainly help you because they certainly have done me. The last one is the accounts. So this is the normal. Change your password, change your billing, change which credit card you're using, that type of thing. So that's pretty much a quick overview of a very powerful, very large system. You have a great day. Oh, hail yes.